In exactly 24 hours, the biggest corruption trial in city history will begin. Right now, the judge is getting arrested. The courthouse steps gleam wet under morning light. Judge Rebecca Williams climbs toward justice, briefcase in hand, black robe folded inside. She doesn't know 3 police officers wait in the shadows. Sergeant Anthony Castellano steps forward. His badge catches the light. His eyes narrow on Rebecca's civilian clothes jeans, sneakers, simple jacket. Wrong color, wrong place. ID now. Rebecca stops. She reaches for her wallet, polite, measured. I'm here for work, officer. Work? Castellano's voice drips contempt. Another welfare case wasting taxpayer time. She extends her driver's license. Federal judicial ID stays hidden beneath. I assure you, I belong here. He snatches the license, studies it like a weapon. Rebecca Williams, South Side address. His lip curls. Figures. The briefcase slips from her fingers. Papers scatter across stone steps. Official seals flash in morning sun. Castellano's palm cracks across her cheek. The briefcase lock clicks open. Rebecca doesn't flinch, doesn't cry, doesn't run. She kneels on cold stone, gathers scattered papers with surgical precision. Each document slides back into place. Federal seals face down, hidden. Officer Emma Davis arrives, radio crackling. She sees the red mark on Rebecca's cheek. Her hand hovers near her weapon, uncomfortable. Sergeant, what's the situation? Routine stop. Suspicious individual. Castellano rolls his shoulders, satisfied. Nothing more. But Rebecca's fingers find her phone. One number, speed dial. Her voice drops to a whisper. It's happening. Proceed as planned. The call ends. Silence stretches. Bystanders film from safe distances. Phones raised like shields. They capture everything but do nothing. Fear keeps them frozen. A janitor emerges from the courthouse entrance, mop bucket in hand. Federal Marshal Jackson wears coveralls and watches. His earpiece is nearly invisible. His eyes never leave Rebecca. Davis shifts weight between feet. Ma'am, you should probably move along. Of course. Rebecca's smile is glacial. I wouldn't want to be late. She walks toward the building, not away from it, toward it. The side entrance guards nod as she approaches. Recognition flickers across their faces. They step aside. No questions asked. Castellano frowns. Something feels wrong. The pieces don't fit his narrative. Davis follows Rebecca's path with her eyes. Sergeant, maybe we should... Should what? She's gone. End of story. But Rebecca isn't gone. She's inside, moving through marble hallways like she owns them. The elevator doors open. She steps inside, presses a button marked Judicial Chambers. The machinery hums. Pulleys and cables lift her toward power. Castellano's radio crackles. Dispatch voice cuts through static. Unit 7, we have a problem. Need you back at station. Priority 1. His face pales. He looks toward the courthouse entrance, searches for answers in stone and glass. Inside the elevator, Rebecca checks her watch. Right on schedule. The elevator doors close on her knowing smile. The police cruiser idles outside the courthouse. Castellano stares at security footage on his phone, frame by frame. The woman, the briefcase, the way guards stepped aside like she belonged there. Run her again. His voice carries new urgency. Officer Davis types on the laptop mounted between seats. Rebecca Williams, South Side address checks out. No priors. Clean record. Nothing suspicious. Union Rep Michael Brennan slides into the passenger seat. Expensive suit. Cheap cologne. Gold watch catching afternoon light. What's the emergency, Sergeant? Potential witness contamination. Romano trial starts tomorrow morning. Brennan's face hardens like concrete. The Romano case. 18 months of careful planning. Bribes flowing through police pension funds. Millions in offshore accounts. evidence tampering, witness intimidation, all hanging by threads now. She's nobody, Davis offers from the back seat. Probably just another courthouse visitor. Wrong place, wrong time. Nobody gets VIP treatment from federal security. Castellano's knuckles whiten on the steering wheel. Find out who she really is. Fast. The radio crackles. Dispatch sends units to different locations. Normal patrol patterns. But nothing feels normal anymore. Miles away, FBI agent Sarah Johnson sits in an unmarked surveillance van. Multiple screens glow around her like mission control. Live feeds from courthouse cameras, police radio frequencies, encrypted communications buzzing through earpieces connected to federal networks. Her team knows the timeline. 18 months of surveillance, wiretaps on dirty cops, financial tracking through Cayman Island accounts. Rebecca Williams has been their inside source from day one. Federal judge working undercover, risking everything for justice. Phoenix is in position, Johnson speaks into her headset. Targets took the bait perfectly. Her screen shows courthouse interior. Rebecca moving through marble hallways. Confident. Prepared. Ready for tomorrow's climactic trial. Inside the courthouse, Rebecca enters her federal chambers. Case files cover every surface. Bank records showing suspicious transfers. Recorded conversations implicating police officials. Witness statements from protected sources. The Romano organization's entire network laid bare like anatomy charts. Her phone buzzes. Court Clerk Anderson calling. Ma'am, there's been a security concern reported. Trial might be delayed pending investigation. Rebecca's laugh is soft, knowing, musical. No delays, Anderson. We proceed exactly as scheduled. She hangs up, returns to evidence review. Each document represents months of dangerous work, lives risked, justice earned through sacrifice. Back in the cruiser, Brennan makes phone calls. His network spans City Hall to federal buildings. Information flows through dirty channels like poisoned rivers. Lieutenant Rodriguez owes me favors, he tells Castellano. Internal Affairs has been tracking police corruption for months. If she's connected to that investigation, we're all exposed. Davis receives a text message. Unknown number. Photo attached shows her daughter walking to school. Backpack. Uniform. Innocent smile. The message is clear. Keep quiet or else. Her hands shake uncontrollably. The phone slips from trembling fingers, clatters to the floorboard like a gunshot. Problem, Davis? Castellano's eyes find hers in the rearview mirror. Predatory. Threatening. No, sir. No problem at all. But problems multiply like cancer cells. Lieutenant Rodriguez emerges from Internal Affairs building. His face is ash gray. Sweat stains his uniform despite cool weather. He slides into Brennan's BMW parked across the street. Words exchanged in hushed tones. She's federal, Rodriguez whispers. Judge Rebecca Williams, Supreme Court nominee pending confirmation, and she's been investigating us for months. The world tilts sideways. 18 months of corruption suddenly makes sense. Bribes flowing through pension funds, evidence tampering in dozens of cases, money laundering through police union accounts, all of it recorded, all of it traced back to Romano's criminal organization. Brennan's phone rings, unknown number flashing on screen. He answers with trembling fingers. Mr. Brennan? The voice is silk over steel, calm authority. This is Judge Williams. I believe we need to talk immediately. Johnson monitors the conversation from her surveillance van. Every word captured. Every admission logged. Digital evidence building in real time. The web tightens around its prey. You have one chance for cooperation, Rebecca continues. Full disclosure earns consideration. Obstruction earns federal prison sentences. Brennan ends the call. His corruption empire crumbles in real time. 20 years of careful criminal networking dissolving like sugar in rain. What do we do now? Rodriguez asks, panic creeping into his voice. Castellano starts the engine. We finish this before she finishes us permanently. At the courthouse, Federal Marshal Jackson sheds his janitor disguise. Bulletproof vest emerges from coveralls. Service weapon checked and ready. His protection team positions around the building like chess pieces. Rebecca reviews final evidence files. Romano's confession implicates everyone: police officials, city politicians, union representatives. The corruption runs deeper than ocean trenches. Tomorrow's trial will expose everything. Her secretary knocks politely. Ma'am, there's unusual activity around the building. Multiple police units converging. Should we be concerned? Let them come, Martha. Justice is ready. Davis sits alone in her patrol car. Daughter's photo taped to dashboard. Career on one side. Family safety on the other. The choice tears her apart like competing magnets. She dials internal affairs. Anonymous tip line. Her voice barely whispers. I have information about police corruption. The Romano case. Officer Emma Davis requesting immediate federal protection. Brennan coordinates from his union office. Maps spread across mahogany desk. Courthouse floor plans. Escape routes. Contingency plans built on desperation and fear. Castellano handles the arrest warrant. Rodriguez provides legal cover. Davis stays quiet or faces deadly consequences. But Davis is already gone, racing toward federal building, toward redemption, toward safety for her family. Johnson receives her call. Agent Johnson? This is Officer Emma Davis. I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to testify. The dominoes fall faster now, each piece striking the next. Momentum builds toward tomorrow's climactic trial, justice gathering like storm clouds. Rebecca checks her computer system. Access logs show attempted intrusions. Brennan's people trying to delete evidence. Too late. Everything exists in triplicate. Federal servers. Encrypted backups. Justice has deep roots. Outside, police sirens wail through city streets. Not coming to help. Coming to silence truth. Castellano leads 6 officers up courthouse steps, where this morning's assault began, where everything ends tomorrow. Rodriguez whispers, she knows about the money. Castellano storms through courthouse security, badge flashing, false warrant in hand. His team follows like wolves. Federal Judge Rebecca Williams, obstruction of justice, interfering with ongoing investigation. The charges are fabricated. Everyone knows it. Nobody stops him. Security guards step back. They recognize federal authority when they see it, even corrupted versions. 3rd floor. Judicial chambers, one guard whispers. Rebecca sits at her desk, reading Romano case files. She hears boots in the hallway. Heavy, aggressive, right on schedule. Her door explodes open. Judge Williams, you're under arrest. She doesn't look up from her papers. On what grounds, Sergeant? Obstruction, witness tampering, interfering with police investigation. Federal Marshal Jackson receives emergency order through his earpiece. Stand down. Corrupt federal contact has jurisdiction. His protection team melts away like morning fog. Rebecca stands slowly, dignified. I invoke my federal judicial immunity. Doesn't apply to criminal behavior. The handcuffs click around her wrists. Cold metal. Hot humiliation. She maintains perfect composure. They march her through courthouse hallways, past shocked clerks, past federal employees who know the truth. Nobody intervenes. The system protects itself. Outside, crowd gathers. Phone cameras rise like periscopes. Everyone films. Nobody helps. Officer Davis executes the arrest. Her hands shake as she guides Rebecca toward the patrol car. I'm sorry, she whispers. I'm so sorry. Rebecca's voice stays steady. 4th Amendment protects against unreasonable search and seizure. 5th Amendment guarantees due process. 14th Amendment ensures equal protection under law. She recites constitutional rights like prayers. Each word cuts through the injustice. Castellano shoves her into the back seat. Too hard. Unnecessary force. The cameras capture everything. Constitutional rights don't protect criminals, he sneers. The car door slams. Engine starts. They drive toward police station. Bystanders upload videos immediately. Social media explodes. #federal judge arrested trends within minutes. The footage spreads like wildfire. Inside the patrol car, Rebecca stares straight ahead. Romano trial evidence is already secured elsewhere. Multiple locations, federal protection. Davis glances in the rearview mirror. What does that mean? It means truth survives. Even if I don't. FBI agent Johnson watches from across the street. Helpless. Her federal authority superseded by corrupt contacts. She speaks into her headset. Phoenix is compromised. Repeat, Phoenix is compromised. But Rebecca isn't worried. This arrest was always part of the plan. Calculated risk. Maximum exposure for corruption. The police station appears ahead. Brick building. Barred windows. Justice perverted into persecution. They pull into the garage. Away from cameras. Away from witnesses. Rodriguez waits inside. Lieutenant Barr's gleaming. Internal Affairs badge displayed. False authority masquerading as legitimate process. Judge Williams, we need to discuss your interference in ongoing investigations. I demand my attorney. I demand federal representation. You'll get what you deserve. They walk her through booking, fingerprints, photos, mugshots of a federal judge, historic injustice documented frame by frame. Cell door closes, metal bars, concrete walls. The judge becomes the prisoner. But outside, revolution begins. Court Clerk Anderson discovers Rebecca's calendar. Supreme Court nomination hearing scheduled for next week. The pieces suddenly fit. They arrested a Supreme Court nominee, he whispers to his assistant. News spreads through federal building like electricity. Phones ring. Emails fly. Emergency meetings convene. Meanwhile, social media videos reach millions. The courthouse assault. The dignified arrest. The constitutional recitations. Public opinion shifts like tectonic plates. Number sign justice for Judge Williams explodes across platforms. Lawyers tweet constitutional violations. Citizens demand answers. The system faces scrutiny. Rodriguez realizes their mistake. Arresting a federal judge creates more problems than it solves. Media attention, federal oversight, congressional investigation. This is bigger than we thought, he tells Castellano. Davis sits in her patrol car, still shaking. Her phone buzzes. Anonymous text. Another photo of her daughter, this time at home, in her bedroom. The message chills her blood. Silence or consequences. But silence becomes impossible. Truth demands voice. Federal Marshal Jackson infiltrates police station. Maintenance uniform again. Mop bucket. Invisible authority. He maps the building. Locates Rebecca's cell. Plans extraction. Johnson coordinates from her van. Federal resources mobilizing. DOJ notification sent. Supreme Court Chief Justice alerted. The cavalry prepares to ride. Rebecca sits in her cell. Calm. Prepared. Tomorrow's trial will proceed. Evidence will emerge. Justice will prevail. The courthouse doors slam shut behind her. Detective Marcus Williams arrives at the station. No relation to Rebecca. Just coincidence. Bad timing. He reviews the arrest report with growing confusion. Federal judge? Supreme Court nominee? He drops the paperwork. What the hell were you thinking? Castellano paces the bullpen. Defensive, aggressive. She was interfering with Romano investigation. Clear obstruction. With what evidence? What interference? Williams pulls up Rebecca's background. Federal prosecutor for 12 years. Supreme Court nominee pending Senate confirmation. Spotless record. This woman is untouchable. Not anymore, she isn't. But doubt spreads like infection through the precinct. Officers whisper in corners. Something feels wrong. Federal judges don't get arrested for walking up courthouse steps. Officer Davis locks herself in the bathroom, breaks down completely. Tears, guilt, terror for her daughter's safety. Her phone buzzes constantly. More threats, more photos, more pressure. She calls her union representative, voice shaking. I need help. Protection. They're threatening my family. What did you see? What do you know? The arrest was wrong. The judge didn't do anything. Castellano just attacked her. Silence. Then, you saw nothing. You know nothing. Understand? The line goes dead. FBI Agent Johnson contacts DOJ Emergency Hotline. Federal judge in local custody. Constitutional crisis brewing. We need immediate intervention. Judicial immunity violated. Justice Department lawyers mobilize. Emergency motions. Federal jurisdiction challenges. The legal machine awakens from sleep. Court Clerk Anderson discovers more evidence. Rebecca's appointment calendar shows Supreme Court prep meetings, constitutional law conferences, nomination hearings scheduled, everything legitimate, everything legal. He calls the news desk at Channel 7. You need to know something about Judge Williams. This arrest, it's not what it seems. Social media explodes exponentially. Legal experts weigh in. Constitutional scholars express outrage. Former prosecutors defend Rebecca's reputation. The tide turns. Number 1, trending. Videos accumulate millions of views. The courthouse slap scene worldwide. Dignity under assault. Grace under pressure. Lieutenant Rodriguez realizes the magnitude of their mistake. Federal oversight incoming. Congressional hearings. Career-ending scrutiny. He calls Brennan frantically. We need damage control. Major damage control. This thing is spiraling. Brennan watches news coverage from his union office, CNN, Fox, MSNBC, every network covering the story. Federal judge arrested. Constitutional crisis. His corruption empire faces daylight. Contain the narrative, he orders. Paint her as corrupt. Justify the arrest. But narratives resist control when truth has momentum. Detective Williams requests case files. Romano investigation documents, financial records. He wants answers, real answers, not manufactured justifications. Denied. Castellano blocks access. Need to know basis only. I'm lead detective on organized crime. This is my need to know. Not anymore. The precinct fractures along loyalty lines. Good cops versus corrupt cops. Justice versus cover-up. The divide deepens hourly. Davis emerges from bathroom, red eyes, shaking hands, shaking. She approaches Williams quietly. Can we talk? Privately? They walk to parking garage, away from listening ears, away from surveillance cameras. The arrest was fabricated, she whispers. Judge Williams did nothing wrong. Nothing. Castellano he wanted to hurt her. Williams processes this information. Federal judge, innocent victim, false arrest, constitutional violation, career suicide for everyone involved. Why are you telling me this? Because it's wrong. Because I have a daughter. Because I became a cop to protect people, not abuse them. What do you need? Protection. For my family. They're threatening us. Williams makes decision. Moral decision. Career-risking decision. I'll help. But we need federal backup. Johnson receives call from unknown number. Police station payphone. Davis speaking rapidly. This is Officer Emma Davis. I need FBI protection. I have information about police corruption. The judge is innocent. Where can we meet? Federal building. 1 hour. Come alone. The meeting changes everything. Davis provides detailed testimony. Castellano's pattern of abuse, Brennan's corruption network, Rodriguez's complicity, evidence of systematic misconduct. Johnson records everything: digital evidence, sworn statements, constitutional violations documented. The case builds rapidly. Federal Judge Martinez calls emergency session. Judicial immunity violated. Federal jurisdiction challenged. Constitutional crisis brewing. Emergency hearings scheduled. Supreme Court Chief Justice's office demands explanations within 2 hours. Federal judge arrested. Nominee detained. Constitutional separation of powers threatened. Clock ticks toward midnight. Pressure builds like steam in a boiler. Rebecca sits in her cell, calm, reading law books from memory, preparing for tomorrow's trial. The Romano case proceeds regardless of her detention. Her law clerk receives emergency call. Access the hidden files, Protocol 7, federal backup servers. Everything we need for tomorrow. Digital evidence transfers to secure locations, financial records, witness statements, audio recordings. The case survives imprisonment. Local news stations receive anonymous tips. Courthouse security footage, police misconduct evidence, internal documents leaked systematically. Channel 7 leads with breaking news. Federal judge innocent. Police corruption exposed. Constitutional crisis deepens. The story spreads globally. International law organizations express concern. United Nations monitoring situation. American justice system under scrutiny. Rodriguez panics completely. Calls in sick. Requests vacation time. Attempts to flee jurisdiction. Too late. Federal agents monitor airports. Bank accounts frozen. This is bigger than Romano, he tells his lawyer. This involves everyone. City Hall, police union, federal contacts. We're all going down. Brennan attempts damage control, press conferences, character assassination. Smear campaigns against Rebecca. Nothing sticks. Public supports the judge overwhelmingly. Union representatives distance themselves. Police benevolent associations withdraw support. Political allies vanish like smoke. Corruption stands naked in sunlight. Davis completes her federal testimony. Full confession. Complete cooperation. Witness protection approved for her family. Officer Davis will testify against corrupt colleagues, Johnson announces to her team. Federal immunity granted. Family relocated tonight. The dominoes accelerate. Each revelation triggers the next. Momentum builds toward reckoning. Williams reviews evidence. Financial records showing systematic corruption. Audio recordings of illegal activities. Video surveillance of civil rights violations. Castellano's finished. They're all finished. Federal vehicles surround police station. Black SUVs. Unmarked cars. Marshal service activation. Justice Department intervention imminent. Rebecca checks digital clock in her cell. 11:47 p.m. 13 minutes until tomorrow. Until Romano trial. Until evidence presentation. She smiles quietly. Everything proceeds according to plan. Detective Williams picks up the phone. I need to make a call. Federal Judge Martinez calls emergency session at midnight. Constitutional crisis demands immediate response. Judicial immunity violated. Federal jurisdiction compromised. Emergency orders prepared. Supreme Court Chief Justice's office burns with activity. Phones ringing constantly. Constitutional scholars consulted. Precedent reviewed. 2-hour deadline approaches rapidly. Federal judge detained without cause. Supreme Court nominee imprisoned. This cannot stand. Legal briefs fly through electronic systems. Emergency motions. Habeas corpus petitions. Constitutional challenges. The legal machine roars to life. Officer Davis makes secret call from federal building. Internal Affairs honest division. The few clean cops remaining in the system. This is Officer Emma Davis. I have critical information about the Williams arrest, police corruption, civil rights violations. I need protection. FBI Agent Johnson coordinates with DOJ attorneys, federal marshals, constitutional enforcement units. The cavalry mobilizes for dawn assault. Rebecca's law clerk accesses hidden evidence files. Emergency protocol activated. Password protected. Encrypted servers. 3 layers of security bypassed systematically. Financial records download. Audio recordings transfer. Witness statements copy. Tomorrow's trial evidence secured in federal databases. Local news stations receive coordinated anonymous tips. Courthouse security footage. Police misconduct videos. Internal documents leaked simultaneously across multiple outlets. Channel 7 prepares breaking news coverage. CNN alerts National Desk. Federal judge story escalates to constitutional crisis. Union Rep Brennan realizes federal involvement expanding. Not just Rebecca, not just Romano. Entire corruption network exposed. 20 years of careful criminal enterprise crumbling. Panic mode activated. Emergency meetings. Damage control impossible. Media narrative beyond control. "Abort everything now," he shouts into secure phone. "Destroy evidence. Eliminate witnesses. Whatever it takes. But elimination requires time. Federal protection moves faster. Rodriguez attempts to flee jurisdiction. Airport, train station, bus terminal. All monitored. Bank accounts frozen. Credit cards canceled. No escape routes remain. Detective Williams reviews personnel files. Castellanos record. Excessive force complaints. Civil rights violations. Internal investigations. Pattern of abuse spanning years. How did this man keep his badge? Union protection, his partner explains. Brennan covered everything. Every complaint, every lawsuit, every victim silenced. Federal Marshal Team receives go signal from Justice Department. Armed intervention authorized. Constitutional enforcement priority. Dawn raid approved. Rebecca sits calmly in her cell. Checking time. 1:23 a.m. 6 hours until trial. Evidence presentation scheduled. Justice delivery guaranteed. Her phone call allowance unused. No lawyers needed. No bail required. Tomorrow's courtroom provides better platform than freedom tonight. Cell door rattles. Guard approaches. "Judge Williams? You have visitors." FBI agents Johnson and Martinez enter. Federal authority restored. Local detention overruled. "Ma'am, we're here to secure your release. Federal jurisdiction supersedes local custody." "Not yet," Rebecca responds quietly. "Tomorrow morning, after trial preparation complete, after Romano evidence presentation ready." "Ma'am, you don't have to stay. I choose to stay. Maximum impact requires sacrifice. Constitutional violation documented. Public outrage mobilized. Federal intervention justified." Johnson understands immediately. Strategic detention. Calculated martyrdom. Justice theater performed for maximum effect. "The timing must be perfect," Rebecca continues. "Release comes when it serves justice, not comfort." Clock tower chimes 2 a.m. 4 hours remaining. Federal vehicles position around courthouse. Police station surrounded. Justice Department coordinates final operations. Brennan's phone rings urgently. Unknown caller. Federal number. The Chief Justice's call comes through. Dawn breaks gray and cold. Castellano enters interrogation room. Confidence cracking. Rebecca sits calmly. Hands folded. Federal composure intact. "Judge Williams? Let's discuss your interference in ongoing investigations." She doesn't blink. "I invoke my right to remain silent. I demand federal representation. I invoke judicial immunity under Article 3. Immunity doesn't cover criminal behavior." "What criminal behavior?" "Walking up courthouse steps, carrying legal documents, exercising constitutional rights." Castellano slams case file on metal table. Photos scatter, financial records, bank statements. Money laundering, witness tampering, conspiracy charges. Rebecca examines documents with practiced eye. These records show police pension fund irregularities, not judicial misconduct. You're investigating yourselves, Sergeant. The room temperature drops. Sweat beads on Castellano's forehead. You've been conducting unauthorized surveillance. Federal wiretaps. Constitutional violations. Federal judges authorize wiretaps legally, through proper judicial channels, with constitutional oversight. Officer Davis appears in doorway, pale, shaking. "Sergeant, I need to speak with you privately. We're busy. It's urgent, about the case, about everything." Castellano glances at Rebecca. She smiles knowingly. Officer Davis seems troubled by something. Conscience, perhaps? Davis backs away from the door. "I can't do this anymore. I won't do this. You'll do what you're told." "No, I won't. I'm calling federal authorities. I'm requesting protection for me and my daughter." She leaves rapidly, footsteps echoing in hallway, running toward redemption. Detective Williams enters interrogation room. Different energy, professional respect. "Judge Williams, I apologize for this treatment. Federal jurisdiction clearly applies here." "Thank you, Detective. Constitutional law recognizes federal judicial immunity. This detention violates separation of powers." Williams turns to Castellano. "What evidence justifies this arrest?" "Show me probable cause. Show me criminal activity." Silence stretches. No evidence exists. Only fabricated charges, political retaliation, constitutional violation. Rebecca leans forward. "Sergeant Castellano, I've spent 18 months studying police corruption in this jurisdiction. Financial irregularities, evidence tampering, civil rights violations, pattern of systematic misconduct. You have no authority. Federal judges possess broad investigative authority, especially regarding constitutional violations, especially regarding civil rights abuses." She opens her briefcase. Documents emerge. Bank records, audio transcripts, financial analysis. Romano organization funneled money through police pension funds, bribes, kickbacks, money laundering operation. Williams studies documents, professional interest, detective instincts activated. These records show systematic corruption. How long has this been happening? 3 years minimum, millions of dollars, dozens of officials compromised. Brennan bursts through door. Union authority blazing. "This interrogation ends now. Judge Williams, you're exceeding federal jurisdiction." "Actually, Mr. Brennan, federal judges investigate constitutional violations anywhere in American territory, particularly civil rights abuses. Your legal understanding needs improvement." She produces audio recording device. Small, digital, professional grade. Everything recorded, every conversation, every threat. Every constitutional violation documented. The room goes silent. Breathing stops. Reality shifts. 18 months of undercover investigation, federal authorization, Supreme Court oversight, Justice Department coordination. Every word preserved digitally. Castellano reaches for his weapon instinctively. Federal crime. Threatening federal judge. Career suicide. Life imprisonment. Williams intervenes immediately. "Sergeant, stand down. Federal crime in progress. Multiple witnesses present." "She's been wearing wire?" Brennan's voice cracks. "For how long?" "Since Romano investigation began. Since corruption allegations surfaced. Since constitutional violations started. Federal agents appear in doorway. Johnson leading, armed, authorized. Federal jurisdiction established. Local detention terminated immediately." But Rebecca raises her hand. "Not yet. Trial evidence presentation comes first. Constitutional violation documentation complete. Public education priority." She stands gracefully, dignity intact, authority restored. Romano trial proceeds in 2 hours. Evidence presentation will illuminate everything. Corruption, conspiracy, constitutional crimes. "Judge Williams," Johnson says, "you don't have to endure more." Justice endures everything necessary. Constitutional principles demand sacrifice. Truth requires courage. Williams nods respectfully. Professional recognition, moral admiration. "Ma'am, what can we do to help?" "Ensure courtroom security. Protect witness testimony. Document everything for federal prosecution. Footsteps echo in corridor. Multiple agents. Federal authority arriving. Justice Department coordination. The interrogation room door swings open. FBI Agent Johnson enters with federal warrant. Official seal gleaming. Constitutional authority restored. Judge Rebecca Williams, you're released immediately. Federal jurisdiction supersedes local custody. Handcuffs removed. Freedom returned. Dignity vindicated. All charges dropped. Federal immunity recognized. Constitutional violation acknowledged. Local authority surrenders. Rebecca walks through police station corridors. Officers step aside respectfully, some ashamed, others relieved. Truth creates clarity. Outside, crowd cheers. Hundreds gathered. Phones filming. Justice prevailing. Constitutional rights protected. Officer Davis approaches publicly. Courage found. Judge Williams, I apologize. For everything. For my cowardice. For participating in injustice. Officer Davis, courage emerges when needed most. Your family will receive federal protection. Your testimony will serve justice. Media surrounds courthouse steps. Microphones, cameras, questions shouted. Rebecca maintains professional composure. Justice operates through proper legal channels. Truth emerges through constitutional process. Tomorrow's trial will reveal everything. Reporter shouts, Judge Williams, will you press charges? Federal prosecutors will determine appropriate responses. My focus remains constitutional law, Romano trial, evidence presentation. She climbs courthouse steps, same location, different context. Morning assault becomes afternoon vindication. Security guards salute respectfully. Federal marshals provide escort. Constitutional authority restored completely. Courthouse staff waits inside. Standing ovation. Applause echoing through marble halls. Professional respect. Moral admiration. Court Clerk Anderson approaches. Ma'am, courtroom prepared. Evidence ready. Romano trial proceeds as scheduled. Excellent. Justice delayed is justice denied. Constitutional principles require timely resolution. Rebecca enters her chambers. Law books, case files, evidence folders, everything organized, everything ready. Phone rings. Supreme Court Chief Justice calling. Rebecca, constitutional crisis averted. Nomination process continues. Senate confirmation scheduled. Thank you, Chief Justice. Duty required courage. Constitution demanded sacrifice. She reviews trial preparation, financial evidence, audio recordings, witness testimonies, systematic corruption exposed methodically, federal agents secure building, courtroom protection, witness safety, evidence preservation, Justice Department coordination complete. Davis completes federal testimony, full cooperation, complete disclosure, family relocated safely, federal protection guaranteed. Detective Williams coordinates with FBI, evidence transfer, witness preparation, constitutional law enforcement, professional respect established. Clock shows 2 p.m., 1 hour until trial. Evidence presentation imminent. Justice preparation complete. Rebecca checks appearance. Federal robes, judicial dignity, constitutional authority, ready for courtroom, phone buzzes. Court security. Ma'am, courtroom full, media present, federal oversight confirmed, Romano defendants waiting. Justice waits for no one. Constitutional law proceeds on schedule. She enters courtroom corridor, confident steps, moral authority, constitutional power restored. Her phone rings. Ma'am, we have the final evidence. Next morning arrives like Judgment Day. Courtroom packed, media cameras positioned, federal marshals stationed. History waits to unfold. Rebecca takes the bench. Black robes flowing, gavel ready. Constitutional authority fully restored. She surveys the courtroom with judicial composure. Defendant table holds surprises. Sergeant Anthony Castellano sits in handcuffs. Union Rep Michael Brennan beside him. Lieutenant Rodriguez slumped in defeat. All arrested overnight. Federal charges pending. Court is now in session. The United States versus Romano and Associates. Federal racketeering charges. Conspiracy. money laundering, civil rights violations. Romano himself sits separately. Orange jumpsuit, federal custody. His empire crumbling systematically. Your Honor, Federal Prosecutor Martinez stands. The government presents evidence of systematic corruption spanning 3 years. Police officials, union representatives, city administrators, all compromised by defendant Romano's criminal organization. Rebecca nods. Present your evidence, counselor. Evidence Layer 1, financial records showing $2.3 million in bribes, police pension funds compromised, offshore accounts established, money laundering operations spanning multiple jurisdictions, documents appear on courtroom screens, bank statements, wire transfers, Cayman Island accounts, Swiss banking records, financial trails leading directly to corrupt officials. Castellano stares at his bank records displayed publicly, secret accounts exposed, bribes documented, criminal enterprise laid bare. Evidence Layer 2. Audio recordings totaling 247 hours. Conversations recorded during an 18-month federal investigation. Conspiracy discussions, bribery negotiations, civil rights violation planning. Rebecca's voice fills courtroom speakers, crystal clear, perfectly recorded. This is Judge Rebecca Williams, Federal Investigative Authority, recording conversation with Sergeant Castellano regarding Romano case tampering. Brennan's face drains white. His voice plays next. Eliminate the witnesses. Destroy the evidence. Whatever it takes to protect our interests. 18 months of criminal conversations, every word preserved, every conspiracy documented, every constitutional violation recorded systematically. Evidence Layer 3, witness testimony from 12 protected sources, victims of police brutality, evidence tampering survivors, corruption witnesses speaking under federal protection. Officer Emma Davis takes witness stand, federal immunity granted. Family relocated safely, truth protection activated. I witnessed systematic abuse of constitutional rights. Sergeant Castellano routinely violated civil liberties. Citizens targeted for race, economic status, political beliefs. Her testimony continues. Specific incidents, documented abuses, pattern of misconduct spanning years. Detective Williams testifies next. Professional integrity intact. Internal investigation revealed extensive corruption, evidence tampering, case manipulation. Constitutional violations routinely covered up. 12 witnesses total, each testimony devastating, each revelation damning. Systematic corruption exposed completely. Evidence Layer 4. Defendant Romano's complete confession, recorded yesterday evening. Federal custody, full cooperation agreement. Romano's voice plays through speakers. Defeated, resigned, complete surrender. I corrupted police officials through systematic bribery, pension fund contributions, offshore account transfers, union protection purchased, evidence tampering guaranteed. He names names, details payments, describes criminal network, complete organizational structure exposed. Judge Williams coordinated federal investigation, undercover operation, constitutional law enforcement. I targeted her specifically to prevent today's trial. Courtroom gasps. The connection revealed. Yesterday's assault was attempted sabotage, criminal conspiracy to obstruct justice. Rebecca speaks from bench, judicial authority commanding attention. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday morning's incident was not random police misconduct. It was calculated criminal conspiracy. Attempt to prevent this trial, obstruct federal justice, violate constitutional law, security footage plays, morning assault on courthouse steps. Rebecca's dignified response. Evidence scattering. Federal documents exposed. I accepted 18 months of undercover investigation. Personal risk, professional sacrifice. Constitutional duty demanded courage. The courtroom understands completely. Federal judge working undercover, gathering evidence, risking everything for justice. Sergeant Castellano's assault yesterday was his final criminal act. recorded by federal surveillance, witnessed by agents, documented thoroughly. Federal Marshal Jackson testifies. Judge Williams wore recording devices throughout investigation. Every conversation captured, every threat documented, every constitutional violation preserved. Additional evidence emerges. Police station security footage, illegal interrogation tactics, constitutional violations captured systematically. 23 total arrests overnight. Police officials, union representatives, city administrators. Romano organization completely dismantled. Brennan attempts to speak. Lawyer intervention. Damage control impossible. Evidence overwhelming. Conviction inevitable. Your Honor, my client requests plea negotiations. Too late, counselor. Federal grand jury indictments already issued. Constitutional violations require maximum prosecution. Rodriguez breaks down completely. Full confession. Complete cooperation. We were drowning in corruption. Romano controlled everything. Police, courts, city hall, everyone compromised. Rebecca reviews sentencing guidelines. Federal racketeering. 25 years minimum. Civil rights violations. Additional penalties. Constitutional crimes demand justice. Sergeant Anthony Castellano, you are found guilty of federal racketeering, civil rights violations, conspiracy, money laundering, and assault on federal officer. Gavel strikes. Constitutional authority final. Sentence, 25 years federal prison. No parole eligibility. Castellano collapses. Career destroyed. Life ruined. Justice served. Union Representative Michael Brennan, similar charges, similar sentence. 20 years federal incarceration. Lieutenant Rodriguez, cooperation noted. 15 years federal prison. Testimony appreciated. Romano receives life sentence. Criminal empire eliminated. Constitutional law victorious. Courtroom applauds. Justice delivered. Constitutional rights protected. Federal authority vindicated. Rebecca addresses packed courtroom. Media cameras rolling. Historic moment documented. Constitutional law protects every American citizen. Federal judges investigate violations wherever they occur. Justice requires courage. Truth demands sacrifice. Standing ovation follows. Professional respect. Moral admiration. Constitutional celebration. This investigation demonstrates systematic problems requiring systematic solutions. Police reform, union oversight, constitutional education, justice system strengthening. Officer Davis approaches bench. Federal protection guaranteed. New career beginning. Moral courage rewarded. Thank you, Your Honor, for showing us justice is possible, for proving courage matters, for protecting constitutional rights. Rebecca smiles. Judicial satisfaction. Constitutional victory. American justice functioning properly. Federal agents escort convicted defendants. Prison transport waiting. Justice system operating. Constitutional law enforced. Media interviews follow. National coverage. Constitutional crisis resolved. Federal authority restored. Justice emerges when good people refuse silence. Constitutional rights require active protection. Federal law applies everywhere. Tomorrow brings Supreme Court confirmation. Today brings justice satisfaction. Constitutional duty fulfilled completely. Castellano realizes he slapped a federal judge. 6 months later, Washington, D.C. Supreme Court confirmation ceremony. Senate chamber packed. Constitutional history unfolding. Justice Rebecca Williams approaches the bench that will define American law for decades. Chief Justice administers oath. Hand on Constitution. Voice steady. I, Rebecca Williams, do solemnly swear to administer justice without respect to persons and do equal right to the poor and to the rich. Senate applauds. Standing ovation. Constitutional celebration. The woman who endured assault for justice now holds America's highest judicial authority. Her confirmation hearing referenced courage under pressure, constitutional sacrifice, professional integrity. Senators praised her dedication to justice regardless of personal cost. Judge Williams demonstrated that constitutional law applies equally to everyone. Federal authority protects all citizens. Justice requires personal courage, Senator Martinez declared during confirmation proceedings. Back home, Officer Emma Davis receives promotion to detective. Reformed police training program launched. Community oversight established. Her courage rewarded with career advancement and family safety. Detective Davis will lead constitutional law enforcement training, Chief announces. Her testimony protected citizens' rights. Her courage reformed our department. Davis addresses new police recruits. Academy graduation ceremony. Fresh faces. Clean slates. Hope for systemic change. Constitutional rights aren't suggestions. They're sacred obligations. Every citizen deserves protection. Every officer swears sacred duty. Her daughter watches proudly from audience. Federal protection no longer necessary. Truth created safety. Justice provided security. Victims of police corruption receive federal compensation. Class action settlement approved. $2 million distributed. Systematic healing begins through financial recognition. Mrs. Thompson, brutalized 2 years ago, testifies at settlement hearing. Justice arrived late, but it arrived. Federal investigation proved our suffering mattered. Our rights counted. 23 families receive compensation, medical bills covered, legal fees paid, dignity restored through federal recognition. New police oversight board established. Community representatives included. Civilian authority over law enforcement. Constitutional balance restored. Police serve citizens, not the reverse, Board Chairman Anderson declares. Constitutional oversight prevents future corruption. Federal prison houses the corrupt. Castellano serves 25 years, no parole eligibility. His cell block holds other constitutional criminals. Justice uniformly applied. Prison interviews reveal broken men, careers destroyed, families devastated, crime consequences fully realized. I destroyed everything, Castellano admits to prison counselor. 20 years of service, pension lost, family ashamed, constitutional law won. Brennan's lobbying license permanently revoked, union corruption exposed, political influence eliminated, criminal enterprise completely dismantled. Rodriguez cooperates fully, reduced sentence earned through testimony, 15 years imprisonment. Cooperation rewarded but justice maintained. Romano dies in federal prison. Natural causes. Age 73. Criminal empire permanently eliminated. Constitutional law victorious. His criminal network completely destroyed. Millions in assets seized. Federal forfeiture complete. Crime profits returned to communities. Rebecca delivers keynote address at Harvard Law School. Constitutional Law Symposium. Packed auditorium. Future lawyers listening intently. Constitutional courage requires personal sacrifice. Federal judges investigate violations anywhere. Justice demands active protection, not passive observation. Students ask penetrating questions. Professional curiosity. Constitutional understanding. Legal careers inspiring. How did you maintain composure during assault? Young woman asks. Constitutional law sustained me. Federal authority protected me. Truth provided strength. Justice demanded dignity. Her lecture becomes legendary. Constitutional courage defined. Federal authority explained. Professional inspiration delivered. Law school enrollments increase nationally. Constitutional law courses overflowing. Rebecca's example inspiring new generation of lawyers. Young black women particularly inspired. Legal careers chosen. Constitutional law studied. Federal service planned. She showed us constitutional authority transcends everything, Howard law student explains. Federal judges protect everyone. Justice requires courage. Rebecca mentors promising students. Office hours extended. Constitutional education prioritized. Future federal judges guided personally. Constitutional law protects the powerless, she teaches. Federal authority serves everyone equally. Justice demands personal integrity. 10 years later, 3 former students become federal judges. Constitutional legacy extending. Justice inspiration multiplying. Legal system strengthening systematically. Police reform spreads nationally. Constitutional training mandatory. Civil rights education required. Systematic change implemented broadly. The Williams Standard becomes legal precedent. Federal judges' investigative authority clarified. Constitutional oversight strengthened permanently. Law schools teach Williams v. Corruption as constitutional law case study. Federal authority. Civil rights protection. Judicial courage. Educational inspiration provided. Rebecca's autobiography becomes bestseller. Constitutional Courage, a federal judge's journey. Proceeds fund legal scholarships for disadvantaged students. Her final paragraph resonates nationally. Constitutional law belongs to everyone. Federal authority protects all citizens. Justice requires active participation. Courage creates change. 20 years later, she retires from Supreme Court. Constitutional legacy secure. American justice strengthened permanently. Federal authority restored completely. Retirement ceremony draws thousands. Constitutional celebration. Professional recognition. Moral admiration universal. Chief Justice delivers tribute. Justice Williams proved constitutional law requires personal courage. Federal authority demands individual sacrifice. American justice functions through dedicated service. Her portrait hangs in Supreme Court. Constitutional courage immortalized. Federal authority celebrated. Justice inspiration preserved permanently. Final scene returns to courthouse steps, where everything began. Morning light illuminates marble stairs. Constitutional pilgrimage site now. Law students visit regularly. Constitutional education continues. Federal authority studied. Justice inspiration renewed constantly. Bronze plaque reads, "Here Justice Rebecca Williams demonstrated constitutional courage. Federal authority protects all citizens. Truth requires personal sacrifice." Young black law student reads inscription aloud. Inspiration kindled. Constitutional career planned. Federal service considered. Constitutional law protects everyone, her professor explains. Federal judges serve all citizens. Justice demands courage from each generation. System works when good people refuse to stay silent. Constitutional law applies equally. Federal authority protects universally. Justice requires active courage. Truth emerges through sacrifice. Constitutional rights demand protection. Federal law serves everyone. Justice never stops inspiring.